Hello and welcome back. Today we are on our third video talking about Jonathan Edwards' sermon, Nothing on Earth Can Represent the Glories of Heaven. And what Edwards has been saying is that the best we can do when we think about how great heaven is to compare it with things on earth. But honestly, it's going to do a terrible job of letting us know how great heaven is because the things of earth are not as great as the things in heaven are. And so when we talk about how it's a kingdom and it has streets of gold and so on, it just speaks about earthly things that can represent the greatness of heaven, but heaven is far greater. And what we talked about last time was what God means to bless us with in heaven is not mainly things, but with himself, his own excellencies. He's going to reveal more and more his glory to us, and the more we get to see his glory, the more we will delight in what we see and understand, and the more we will find ourselves enjoying him and being happy, not just now, but forever. And in this part, this video, I want us to think about the excellency of the love of God. Not only is God excellent in his being, he is a gloriously wonderful being. One other excellent thing about God is that this great being loves you, right? And isn't that amazing? That the God of all creation, the God who has all power, the God who no one is greater than him, no one can give you more joy than him. It would be, can you imagine though that this God loves you? And so we want to marvel at being loved by this great being. And Edwards says, look, sometimes we feel great if just some other earthling loves us, some other human loves us. And we can imagine how much joy we sometimes get by knowing that this man or this woman or this friend or this individual loves us, and that really brings us some joy. And if it's true on a human level that another mere mortal loving us, how much more joy will we get when we think that this great God loves us? And so Edwards wants us to then think, look, God is the greatest, and you will have joy in him just by thinking about him and reflecting on his excellencies, and now reflect on the fact that he loves you, and may this bring joy to your heart. And he ends the sermon with a bit of application. He says, look, if this much joy could be found in the Lord, why are our eyes looking at everything else but the Lord? Right? Why are your eyes looking at this temporary earthly treasure? Why is your eye looking at this person to just say, hey, good job on that? Why do we so much look for the attention of others, of other human beings? Why should we not instead put those aside, esteem them as less valuable, and pursue knowing this glorious God more and rejoicing in his love for us? We will find joy on earth in greater measure when we turn our eyes from the world and turn our eyes on the glorious one. And we will find joy in knowing him and joy in being loved by him, and joy in our fellowship with him. And so Edwards holds out to us and commends to us, there's nothing greater than God, and so find your joy in him.